It's 6:30, so I call the select board meeting to order. And our first agenda item is presentation or a conversation with the folks from North Country Environmental Services, Casella. And so we have Joe Gay, Kevin Roy, and Brian Oliver. And then we have quite a few remote participants listening in, so welcome everyone.
Yeah, 29 now.
Are you checking to see if people can hear?
I think we can talk about it.
Okay. Do I need to repeat that? Can people hear me?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Let's see.
All right.
I'll switch over to David.
We do a test. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yeah, that comes up.
Okay, awesome. Well, good evening. My name is Joe Gay. I'm an engineer with Casella Waste Systems. Thanks for having us tonight. I want to just briefly give an update on where we are with our permitting for the Granite State Landfill, which we were referring to this project as. So I am a part of the permitting, engineering, and compliance group for the company. So I have the responsibility for the development efforts for this project in Dalton. So I think what I'd like to share with you tonight is we have been out at the site for the last 3 years studying the wetlands at the project area to fully understand what types of wetlands are there and where they're located and how they are related to the project. That has culminated with a wetlands application that we'll be filing with the New Hampshire Department of Environmental Services tomorrow morning. So over the last, probably the last year or so, we've been refining the design to best fit with what we're seeing out there for wetlands. So we have a final footprint for the landfill that's 137 acres, and that establishes where the waste boundary would be. We are looking to stay on a very specific timeline for all the permitting. This permit application that's going in with the state tomorrow, the town has a copy of. We submitted that, I think, earlier today, late in the day, so you may not be aware of that.
Did you send it by email?
No, it was a hard copy. Our consulting firm delivered the application.
Okay. To us?
To the town.
To the town?
Yes, I believe to the administrative assistant to the town. I know we had to file a copy of the application with the town of Dalton and the town of Bethlehem. And as I understand it, they were both submitted today and will be submitted with this DES tomorrow.
So you've not seen it?
Okay. Yeah, I'm not surprised. I mean, it did get filed late today, so you should be seeing a copy of it, I would think, tomorrow.
And is it something that you could also send an electronic copy?
I think we can. Yeah, I think we can. Okay. Okay. townofdalton.com.
Yes, townofdalton.com.
Okay.
I think I did email from Stephen Hills about the time for this meeting.
Okay. Sure, no problem. We can get you a copy of that way. That'll be efficient. It's a big file, so it may have to be a shared link so you can open up all the documents. There's a very voluminous paper document and then 100 or so engineering plans that are large, so it's a big file. So that, with this filing tomorrow morning with the DES, that'll start a series of permit applications that'll be going into various agencies over the next 12 months. later this year, we're hoping to get the solid waste application filed with the state as well. So I think, you know, we just wanted to come in and kind of give you an update on where we are with the permitting, and let you know in advance of the wetlands application that it's going in. So the timing was good. And I think I'd like to turn it over to Brian Oliver, our regional vice president. I think he's got a few things he wants to share with the town as well.
And so, with the applications going in, when are you going to submit the zoning application to the town as well?
So the zoning application with the town of Dalton.
Yes, we like to have zoning applications.
Okay. Good question. I guess we're going to have to look into that and look at when that filing will occur. I'm sure soon. Now that we have an understanding of what the footprint is going to be, the size and shape of it, I think we know better now, you know, how an application would look for the town. Okay. Thank you.
We do appreciate it. We have done this. It's like we heard about this meeting before we heard about it directly from you.
Okay. Well, I think. Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. We'll take that into advisement for sure. We certainly want to communicate with the town. We've been in a few times and shared some of our interests with working with the town, and that continues. And we fully endorse that. So anytime the selectmen would like to see us in and talk about anything, we'd be more than happy to do that.
Thank you, Joe. My name is Brian Oliver, and I'm Vice President with Casella, as Joe said. Thank you very much for providing us the opportunity to be here and to speak with you tonight. It's too bad that we couldn't all be here to have the discussion, but it is what it is. So what I'd like to talk about a little bit is the fact that Casella has sent a number of communications to the town regarding high-level host community benefit value, and we've been told that you would like a formal presentation or a formal proposal. So I'm actually here tonight to have that discussion. I'd like to give you a formal proposal, enter it into the record. I'll give it to you afterwards. It is basically in the form of a fully executable host community benefit agreement. And what I'd like to do is just give you kind of the highlights, and then expect that you guys would take time to digest it, share it with your attorney, share it with folks in town, whatever you think is appropriate, and then at an appropriate time, get back to us with any comments that you might have. So I'll kind of go through a high level here. The host community agreement that we're going to provide to you would provide for $2.2 million in year one in direct financial benefits, and it would total a little over $71 million over a 25-year period. And it's comprised of basically 6 components that I'll go through. Sure.
So it's for 25 years, but the life expectancy is that difficult, but it's much longer.
It will go for the life of the landfill. I only use 25 years for demonstration purposes, but the host agreement and the value accrual will continue as long as the landfill is open. So the first component would be direct financial benefits. We would propose to provide the town $2 million a year in payments that would be escalated over the time frame based on a CPI. And it would be composed of 2 items. What's that? It's a consumer price index, so there's an escalator attached to it. Yep. Oh no, I know we have a lot of language, you know, in the landfill business, but that will be an escalated number every year based on that CPI. Excuse me. So it'll be paid in two components. Number one would be taxes, property taxes. We're required to pay property taxes. The other would be, the balance of the 2 million would be made up in monthly payments. So we would pay that balance to the town every month for that year. The second component is what I would call a community enhancement fund. So Casella would propose to pay the town $50,000 every year, in addition to the 2 million. That would be used for health, safety, welfare projects. The way we would see that working is that every year the town would vote at the town meeting to decide what projects to undertake. And then we would provide the $50,000, again escalated, and the town would then use that money for those projects. The third component would be income generated from a renewable energy project. So we fully expect this project will have an aspect of renewable energy. And whether that's compressed gas, whether that's electricity generation, we really haven't gotten far enough into the project to understand what we would do, but there will definitely be a renewable energy component. And we would sit down with the town and have a discussion and figure out what piece of that would accrue to the town. The next piece of this, again, in addition, would be free curbside collection of municipal solid waste and recyclables for all residents in the town, and also all small businesses that generate 10 yards of MSW per week or less. We would pick those up for free. Now, yes. Yep. Now again, the $2 million, just to clarify, the 50,000 and the free curbside collection, those would all begin when the landfill commences operation. So as soon as the landfill starts accepting waste, then those benefits would accrue. The next component would be free acceptance of up to 1,000 tons tons per year of MSW and construction demolition debris from the town transfer station. That would begin when a host agreement is signed, not when the actual landfill commences. So that could be sooner. Right now, I think you're going to Bethlehem. I think you might be going to Mount Carberry with that waste, and we would accept it at our North Country landfill at no charge to the town. The town would pay for the trucking to get it there, but we would accept it. And the last component is what we call property value protection. We're in the process of figuring out a geography around the proposed site where we would employ a property value protection plan. So we would try to protect the value of those homes. So one of three things would happen in that area. If a house decided to sell, if they were to sell to a third party, then Casella would not be involved. If they were to sell to a third party at lower than the listing price, Casella would make up the difference in that value. If they were unable to sell their home over a period of time, then Casella would agree to buy the home. So it really protects the resident and their home value so that they're kept whole.
But based on what value?
They have to go get an appraisal. There's going to be confidentiality agreements too, so that, you know, that price would be given just to them. But perhaps, I mean, the value, whatever the value is, you know, we're going to keep them all.
So the appraised value, if there were not,
It's been our experience that we rarely have to deploy this. We actually have it at most of our landfills. And it's generally has not reduced the value of the homes. But again, this is something that we can have further discussion on. And that's it.
That's it.
Okay, so if I go back to your first one, what you're really looking for is a payment in lieu of taxes arrangement.
Well, it's called the BTLA, so it's the Board of Tax and Land Appeals. They set the tax value because landfills are difficult to tax, so there's a special way that they do that. So the BTLA formula will establish a value of what the tax liability will be for that facility. And that's what we'll pay. And then the balance will be made up in monthly payments.
So who does the calculation?
It's something that we would do in conjunction with the town. With the town. So there's very specific components. We can certainly have an assessor involved. Like I said, it's a very specific formula. So really you're just looking at the inputs to that formula and making sure it complies.
Is it the 2 million or so per year really is less than that because part of that is the taxes that would be paid anyway?
It's $2 million a year inclusive of the taxes, yes.
And is there an escrow account for when the landfill closes for continued monitoring and any remediation?
So we have to have financial assurance mechanisms in place with the state, and that's for closure and post-closure. So we do have that established through the state. If there's any additional things that you'd like to see, the town certainly can do that on their own, but we are required to have closure, post-closure financial assurance mechanisms in place.
How many years?
Is it 30 years, Joe?
30 years with the state.
And what about, assistance for the town in terms of the technical support that we need for monitoring and compliance with the town's?
Again, I think that's a great discussion point. So, I'm here tonight to be able to provide this to you. I think those are great points to talk about and love to come back and have a further discussion with you.
So we'll look for that document,
I will hand it to you right now. Again, as Joe said, I'm sure we can email things to you if that's easier, but I will certainly provide these to you right now. So the first two, let me put my mask on for you. The first 2 pages are the summary that I talked about, and the balance of it is the actual agreement. I know, right? The safety guy might have a problem here with me.
obviously we'll need to take some time with this.
Absolutely. Yep. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Who do we contact if we don't see the papers tomorrow? That were the application.
The wetlands application, that's me, so,
If we don't see it, do we have like a direct contact for you?
So I know we have your email.
yeah.
Okay. Well,
We'll see the
we have yet to see the video from the actual zoning that we asked for a year ago.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the public hearing and the special town meeting at the
That was delivered twice. And once we delivered it and I was told that it was lost, and then Rebecca brought it to the office. I said, yet a second time. So we could bring you obviously another copy, but
Could you bring one for Monday night board meeting to us so that we have it? Like, some night, send it over during a board meeting and hand it to us.
Yep.
There's a lot of mysteries around this
Yeah,
office.
thank you, I'm sorry
Yeah.
it didn't make it to the select board.
We've never seen it.
okay. Yeah, we can, the gentleman that filmed it is right behind you, so we'll make it.
Okay, did you have anything else that you wanted to share?
There's not.
Okay, thank you for coming in.
Well, thank you, appreciate it. Great evening.
Thank you. And so, with the applications going in, when are you going to submit the zoning application to the council?
So the zoning application with the town of Dalton,
Yes, we like to know how zoning is.
okay. Good question. I guess we're gonna have to look into that and, look at when that filing will occur. Sure.
Component would be free acceptance of up to 1,000 tons tons per year of MSW and construction demolition debris from the town transfer station. That would begin when a host agreement is signed, not when the actual landfill commences. So that could be sooner. Right now, I think you're going to Bethlehem. I think you might be going to Mount Carberry with that waste, and we would accept it at our North Country landfill at no charge to the town. The town would pay for the trucking to get it there, but we would accept it. And the last component is what we call property value protection. We're in the process of figuring out a geography around the proposed site where we would employ a property value protection plan. So we would try to protect the value of those homes. So one of three things would happen in that area. If if a house decided to sell, if they were to sell to a third party, then Casella would not be involved. If they were to sell to a third party at lower than the listing price, Casella would make up the difference in that value. If they were unable to sell their home over a period of time, then Casella would agree to buy the home. So it really protects the resident and their home value so that they're kept whole.
But based on what value?
They have to go get an appraisal.
Probably the appraisal comes out.
There's going to be confidentiality agreements too, so that, you know, that price would be given just to them. But perhaps, I mean, the value, whatever the value is, you know, we're going to keep them all.
So the appraised value, if there were not the landfill.
It's been our experience that we rarely have to deploy this. We actually have it at most of our landfills. And it's generally has not reduced the value of the homes. But again, this is something that we can have further discussion on.